Hey guys, it's just me today, and I'm going to be bringing you two reviews of brand new movies that just dropped this weekend. So let's get started. The first is Locked Down on HBO Max. This is directed by Doug Liman, stars Chiwetel Ejiofor and Anne Hathaway as a married couple whose strained relationship is exacerbated by the coronavirus pandemic. So this is like the first major movie, I guess, that we've gotten. It tackles the pandemic. It was shot during the pandemic. It's all about the effects on mental health of a lockdown. And I guess you could say it's a little bit worse for wear because of it. It's obviously a little bit rushed. They had to shoot it in a couple of months. And obviously, they didn't have time to fine tune the script, it seems. I guess they haven't really worked out all of the kinks yet. It's very reliant on, I guess, some cliched stereotypes of the pandemic. And while some of them do ring true, when put in a movie like this, it kind of, even though I've like people do these things all the time, I've seen people, drink during a Zoom or something. It just feels kind of fake and a little bit stagey to me. Especially when you get this script that is not very subtle. It's not a very subtle script. I guess the actors kind of just emote to each other. They tell each other how they feel. There's not really any nuance to it. Anne Hathaway and Ejiofor are both great actors, but they're kind of saddled with a just over the top script. Both their characters don't feel very real to me, especially since this movie is set 2 weeks after the first lockdown. It's set in March because they have on TV. There's like a headline that Boris Johnson was diagnosed with the virus, and that was in March. And so you're supposed to tell me that these two characters suffer a complete mental breakdown after just 2 weeks of lockdown. I would believe it after a couple of months, but 2 weeks, I don't know. And the reason I say that is because the other half part of this movie, I guess, there's also a heist aspect to it, element. I would not call it a heist movie. Don't go in expecting, Ocean's 11 or something. It's very subdued, but they kind of plan this heist, and I don't know. It's not a very interesting heist. There's no tension to it, really, no stakes. It's not a very big chunk of the movie. So I went in expecting that, and it was pretty disappointing to see there not really be much time devoted to an actual heist movie. I feel like this could have said something about the pandemic in terms of, Ejiofor's character is furloughed, and so that's his incentive to plan the heist. He needs the money, but they kind of throw in this sort of characteristic of both characters that they are kind of rebellious in nature, and that's why they want to do the heist. At least that's part of it. It was kind of nebulous to me, not very well defined. I don't really know that many people who are rebellious just in general. Like, it seemed weird to me. You do have some really great actors in this because all they have to do, all the supporting actors have to do is just do a Zoom call. You have Ben Stiller makes a cameo. You've got Mark Gatiss, Ben Kingsley, Mindy Kaling. So there is some talent involved, but it doesn't really lift the movie that high. I guess that really the only reason to watch this is the novelty of the first major pandemic movie. Yeah, so I'm gonna give this one a 4 out of 10. So the next movie is One Night in Miami, which is directed by Regina King. It's on Amazon Prime. It stars Kingsley Ben-Adir, Eli Gorey, Aldous Hodge, and Leslie Odom Jr. as Malcolm X, Cassius Clay, Jim Brown, and Sam Cooke, respectively. And the movie is a fictionalized account of a meeting these four men had one night in Miami, as the title implies. They actually did meet that one night. They were actually friends in real life. Although the dialogue, the conversations in the movie are obviously fictionalized. And this is based on a play by Kemp Powers, who also co-directed Soul, by the way. And I find it pretty a compelling drama. It's a chamber drama, I guess, that's very character focused. And honestly, for these characters of or historical figures of this magnitude, it was kind of surprising to me. You usually see movies like this, biopics that kind of go big or go home, I feel like. But this one keeps it at a very low, a subtle level. It keeps it very subdued, kind of low key. But I really like that. It kind of made the characters a lot more down to earth, a lot more relatable. They don't feel like larger than life figures, even though they all are. And that's something I honestly haven't seen too much of in biopics. Even like Rocket Man, Bohemian Rhapsody, we've gotten a lot of musical biopics recently. After watching those movies, you still feel like these characters are larger than life. They don't really feel like real people. And perhaps part of that is that the conflicts are the same in every movie. The drug addiction and all that sort of stuff. It's all very similar, so they kind of blend into each other. But This movie has very well defined characters. They all have character flaws. They all have character arcs as well that are really compelling to watch. The dialogue between them, the interactions is amazing to watch, to say the least. So not only do you get these character interactions that speak to you on a character level, they kind of change over the course of the movie. But you also get these historical discussions. Sam Cooke and Malcolm X have this ongoing debate in the movie about the best way to help the Black community. Malcolm X is trying to convince Cooke to write more politically charged music, and Cooke is saying that the best way is to actually just earn money for Black artists through appeasing white people. They both make really strong arguments, intellectually stimulating, I guess you could say, and also emotional on a certain level. They have these heart-to-heart conversations. Sometimes it does feel a little bit stagey in that way. It is based on a play, and characters go off, so they have two. There's four characters, and then two of them go off, so they have their one-on-one. Then the other characters have their one-on-one. But I'd say it works. I think the actors really bring it to life and make it all run smoothly. Benedict probably gets the most screen time as Malcolm X, and he's probably one of the standouts. He's amazing. He also actually played Obama in the Comey Rule, a show last year, a limited series, and that's kind of incredible. And is a great start to his career. He's a really young actor playing Malcolm X and Obama. He's great in this. As Leslie Odom Jr., as Sam Cooke. Every time he sings, by the way, is just a wonderful moment. I mean, Cooke was one of the greatest artists of all time. They play A Change Is Going to Come, and truly a great moment. Hodge also is a real standout as Jim Brown. Brown and Clay are kind of a little bit sidelined. They're the supporting characters, I would say. They don't have as strong of arcs, but they still work really well because their actors just bring them to life so well. And you've also got a pretty low-key piano score by Terence Blanchard, kind of in the background mostly, but it's enjoyable. And of course, the music, I already mentioned it, but they also play a Bob Dylan song, and there's some other great musical moments in this. Part of it is about the power of music, honestly, that the argument that Malcolm X and Sam Cooke have. But anyway, I would highly recommend this one. I'm going to give this One Night in Miami an 8 out of 10. It's probably going to get some Oscar nominations. I'd be perfectly happy with it getting Best Picture, and these actors getting nominated. I think Benedict and Odom Jr. probably deserve it. Yeah, so that's all I have for you today. Go watch these movies on HBO Max. Lockdown's on HBO Max. One Night in Miami is on Prime. And tell us what you thought in the comments below.